Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at USAGLOBALTV.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. My name is Caroline Heward and I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert. Today we are working in partnership with E360 TV and I'm very pleased to welcome all of our viewers from around the world on E360 TV joining in today. It's good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are around the world. Our show today is Talking Heads, and I'm an expert presenter in today's topic, which is abusive relationships. How do abusive relationships affect you? This is a very wide topic, and I'm looking at some key fundamentals in terms of our mental and our emotional capacity of how it affects us. I look forward to sharing this with you in our presentation today. And it's part of our Mind and Body Connection series. So let's begin. I'd like to start off with a quote with Desmond Tutu. Who is an extraordinary pacifist and has lived through many, many challenges of conflict in his lifetime, physical, emotional, and mental conflict. And he says, an abusive relationship should be easy to identify, often one of the most difficult to end. Thank you, Desmond Tutu. So what are the mental effects of an abusive relationship? Well, there are many, and this is a relatively short presentation. So I'm going to be focusing on some very key things that can happen when you've had the effect of an abusive relationship. So it affects our mental health in many different ways. And the two biggest ways is it can affect us in our mental health from a space of depression and a space of anxiety. And I want to look at those two in comparison. When somebody is feeling depressed, they are generally focused in their mind and thinking about past events, past experiences, and past conversations. So it is very much about the person living in their past. And this can make the effect of you feeling very disconnected with your current emotions and feelings. Without being too simplistic, you will feel completely disconnected from your feelings and emotions to the point that you'll almost feel like you're living in your head, that everything is what you're thinking about, and because you're focused on past experiences, you are then in a state of depression. Looking at anxiety is when the mind starts to focus on future things that have not happened and that you are not actually engaged in. The mind becomes typically very engaged in the future physical things that may or may not happen. And this can actually create a huge effect on you in terms of physical relationships, family conversations, family relationships, and indeed work colleagues and relationships and situations and events. Because if you are in the future, so future anxiety about what may or may not happen, you're basing it on past experiences. And when you are either in the past or the future, so when you're either in depression or anxiety, it is very difficult to change the way that you're experiencing life because you're in the mind. And the only way that you can change how you're feeling and experiencing life is to become present, to become wholly and totally present in the current tense. What do I mean by that? Because many people say, well, I am in the present. I am right here, right now. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been having a conversation with somebody and they haven't heard everything that you've said? They've sort of missed some of the things and they've asked you to repeat them. And that is because when you are preoccupied, either in the past or in the future, in the mind, it makes you very disconnected with your present experience. And also, it will stop you being active as a listener and active in terms of a sensory experience in your life. And you'll almost feel that whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're analysing about in terms of past or future conversations and past or future thoughts will dog how you experience in that very moment. So this can have a very detrimental effect on your mental health. It might sound very simple, but many people that have been traumatized by abusive relationships find that deadening the senses and escaping into the mind is an escape path. Let me say that again. Many people that have suffered abusive relationships will find to shut down the feelings and emotions, to deaden, to suppress the emotions of the experiences that they experience sensorily. They escape into the mind, thinking that it is a place of safety. And in that place that they escape, they actually feel all the things that they were doing their best to escape from. And that becomes very challenging for the person that is coming through the effect of the abusive relationship. Because even though they might not still be in that relationship, they're still in it in their minds. And this can create all senses of fear, panic, all sorts of situations where they're fearing other people that are nothing to do with what's happened in their past. And that is because they are experiencing from their past, or they're putting their past into their future. This isn't a great outcome, and this can cause all sorts of conflict internally for the person that is having these kinds of effects after an abusive relationship. It'll almost feel a place of insecurity. The person will feel almost despondent that even though they're not physically in that relationship, they still are bound by the constraints of the abusive relationship. And it's all happening in the mind. How does repressing your emotions affect you? When you repress your emotions, which is different from suppressing, when you suppress your emotions, you are consciously aware that you are suppressing an emotion of sadness, loneliness, heartache, anger. So you are very aware if you are suppressing. When you repress your emotions is, however, very different because it is a subconscious effect, a subconscious decision, and one that you're not making consciously. You're not consciously repressing your emotions. It's like an internal self-defense mechanism. So when you repress your emotions, it actually almost acts like an internal prison cell, because your repression of trauma and abuse, it will suppress any memories or thoughts or feelings of that time of trauma. And because you're repressing it in your conscious level of mind, you won't be aware of how you're reacting and why you're reacting. It'll almost feel like an anathema to you, because that repression can literally make it disappear the past feelings, expression, emotion, thoughts, and actions. And so you'll be operating from this level of non-understanding of why you're being triggered in various situations. Yes, let me say that again. You will find it an anathema, that you will find it difficult to understand or comprehend why your triggers are your triggers, why you are responding the way that you're responding, because it is being buried. It's a repressed emotion, thought, or feeling. And the body is an incredible defense mechanism. It will protect you. It will look after you. But then you'll have the effect of the fact that you've repressed that emotion and that feeling, that thought. Or you've almost locked it away, you filed it in a place that you're going to find it hard to recall. And one of the best ways to open up and expose emotions, feelings, and thoughts that have been repressed is through therapy, because they can be so buried, especially if they've been buried through childhood. It's very difficult to get back, because you've repressed those emotions, feelings, and thoughts and events because you've protected yourself. The body is an incredible self-defense mechanism, and it protects itself so that you don't get hurt again. The problem is the conscious mind still gets triggered by the unconscious. And then when you've repressed that emotion, it's very hard to get back to, why am I responding like this? And so cognitive behavior therapy is really, really good for bringing up repressed emotions, thoughts, and feelings. It is also very, very good for changing the way that you respond, changing behaviours and changing the way that you think and feel about situations, events, conversations, and circumstances you find yourself in. That you really are in this repression. In the mind, it'll feel like you're in a prison cell without the key. That you hold the key. You absolutely hold the key. And it's important for you to have that understanding that you can release those emotions, feelings, and thoughts because you hold the key. It's only your self-defense mechanism that stops you from feeling safe. That because you're not in the situation anymore, the person is not in your life anymore, and you're not in the experience, this is how you can start to process, integrate, and move forward in your healing journey. How does suppressing your emotions affect you? Remember, I was saying that there's a difference between repressing and suppressing. And when you suppress your emotions, you're actually very consciously aware of the fact that you've suppressed your emotions. And Susan David says, research on emotional suppression shows that when emotions are pushed aside or ignored, they get stronger. Psychologists call this amplification. So I would actually say that looking at this, whatever you suppress expresses into your external world, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. If you are suppressing any emotions, when you push them down, they get expressed either physically in your body or emotionally through others or through your thoughts. And so, in effect, if you are ignoring them, like saying, I'm not going to look at that, and pushing them away, what happens is that whatever you resist persists, it gets bigger. It actually gets bigger. And if you resist the emotion and say, I'm not going to feel angry, I'm not going to feel upset, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be angry with that person or with myself, it's like holding a hot coal. If you are angry, the other person isn't affected by it, you are. And if you suppress the emotion, the other person isn't affected, you are. So how does it affect you? It affects you in many ways, because if you are suppressing anger, what will happen is in your environment, in your external world, people will confront you with their anger, with what they're angry about. They will be very angry and quite entitled to be angry about all their own personal things. And that's not yours to take on. But you will probably be surrounded by lots of people that are angry. Or if you are sad, have you ever had a bereavement and you're pushing down, especially the British are really good at this, having this British stiff upper lip. And so they suppress their emotions of sadness and they feel that they shouldn't cry. And when they suppress that emotion, consciously feeling that they shouldn't cry in front of people, what happens is that they will then find in their external world many people being sad around them, many people being emotionally sad, tearful around them. So whatever you suppress expresses in your internal and external world. You suppress sadness, it expresses in your family, in your conversations, in your community, in your work. So it is very important to feel comfortable to express emotions in the right way. And the way that I would recommend, and I invite you to express emotions, is to start with the words I. I feel sad. I feel lonely. I feel angry. Because if you use the terms, you make me feel angry, you make me feel sad, when you're youing it, it then disassociates you from the emotion and it works worse for you. It actually disconnects you from the emotion and disallows you the feeling of it. And when you disconnect with the emotion, it's just the same as suppressing it, which will have a detrimental effect on you as a person. It will affect you emotionally because you'll almost feel like you're deadened of emotion. It'll almost feel like you're disconnected, like you're going through the motions without the emotion. And when you feel like that, it'll almost feel like you're only feeling from the neck upwards, and it's whatever you're thinking and talking and analysing about rather than what you are feeling. And suppressing the emotions causes a great deal of harm to the body. When you suppress your emotions, it can actually make you feel very acidic in the body. It will increase the acid levels in the body and that will create inflammation. If you are feeling sad after a bereavement and you are suppressing the sadness, it can affect your heart. It will also make you feel like everything is an effort, like the world is a challenging place, that you're fighting a battle. So when you suppress the emotion of sadness, it will feel like you're always in a fight, in a battle. If you suppress anger, this will actually move you into a place of not feeling in control, because anger comes from the solar plexus. And when you suppress anger, it actually on the body creates a very high acidic level and can create inflammation, depending on what it is that you're angry about and what's causing the anger in terms of your suppression. What event, situation, conversation, or circumstance created that anger that you are suppressing. It will affect you. physically, emotionally, mentally. And if it's not dealt with, it can have a detrimental effect on your mental, emotional, and physical health. It's really important to handle emotions. Whatever you suppress expresses in your internal and your external environment. Even though you think you're handling it, the body is showing you, your life will show you that you're not handling it. And in your external environment, that is your feedback. Look at your feedback and start to handle the emotions that you are suppressing. Because even though you think you're handling it, and it is a strategy, it will have a detrimental effect on your health. How does anger affect you? Well, I just briefly mentioned about anger affecting the body. And sometimes not at someone, because we have to manage anger, because we are feeling an internal level of anger. And when we feel that internal level of anger, it's very important not to just lambast somebody in our external world, to process and integrate what we're feeling angry about, because that is our personal trigger and anger. And when you process and integrate it, there is different ways of doing it. You can punch a cushion, you can yell, you can scream, not at somebody, in an environment where you're not affecting anyone else. You can actually dance it out, you can meditate it out, you can chant it out. What I mean by chanting is there are many different mantras and practices that you can do to move you from a state of anger into a state of inner peace. And if you are sitting on anger, it has a detrimental effect. So if you're suppressing it, it has a detrimental effect. And if you're expressing it, it's important to express it in the right way. And if you suppress it, other people will be angry at you. And if you have other people being angry at you, you know that there is something going on for you that you need to handle in terms of your own expression of your anger. If you don't express your anger in the right way, it will have an effect on you in terms of your physical health. It will cause inflammation and pain because it's a highly acidic in nature, and it could even cause reflux. Have you ever heard the term, I can't swallow that, or somebody's suffering from heartburn, and it's because the acids from the upper abdomen are coming back up through the esophagus and up into the throat, and it's like a burning sensation because the acid from the stomach is to digest food, and if it comes back up through the digestive system and up into the heart or even in the throat, it will have a detrimental effect on you because that acid is very, very, very sharp, and it will have that feeling of feeling sick. So anger is a really, really big topic, and I have covered anger in previous presentations on Talking Heads, but I wanted to look at anger because when you've come from an abusive relationship, there will be, for many people, unexpressed and undealt with anger. There will be anger that has not been managed correctly, because when you suppress it, because you're handling and controlling the situation within that relationship, it will have an effect on you. And sometimes it might all blow out like a big gasket, that it just comes out in the wrong place, at the wrong person, at the wrong time, or it could cause you a detrimental effect on your health. Anger suppression. I thought this was a really, really lovely quote from the Dalai Lama. He says, "We cannot overcome anger and hatred simply by suppressing them. We need to actively cultivate the antidotes: patience and tolerance." Patience and tolerance. It's a quote by the Dalai Lama. So what he's saying here is it's impossible just to suppress it. It has to be overcome. And it is a personal overcoming rather than expressing it in the wrong way. Thank you for your attention and your interest in today's topic. I know it's a wide topic and it's a very deep topic, how abusive relationships affect you. Please subscribe to USA Global TV and Radio. You can find all of my Talking Heads episodes under the playlist Talking Heads and my name, Caroline Heward. Please do reach out to me if I may be of service to you. I offer a free consultation on either Zoom, Skype, by phone. You can message me on Facebook, or we can do an audio video call on Messenger. You can reach me on No More Stress at live.co.uk or call me on +44 if you're international, 0 if you're local, 7523 120 189. I look forward to helping you break through the chains that are causing your anxiety, depression, stress around moving forward after an abusive relationship. There are many effects. I've only covered a few today. I look forward to being in service to you and helping you overcome your abusive relationships. Namaste.
This program is brought to you in part by the British School of Excellence and founder, Mr. Philip Sykes, building confidence, changing lives. Do you share our view that etiquette is a set of modern life skills that are essential for personal and professional success? Join us as an etiquette coach and change people's lives through the power of etiquette and manners.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school, this class is the best, this is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSC.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to our clients for their testimonials on the Train the Trainer program. Our exponential and global growth is so significant that we've evolved from the British School of Etiquette to the British School of Excellence, where we're investors in people. Let us invest in you and your career. Contact us to become an etiquette coach. Go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Start your career and elevate your success today. Meet Lady Ella, a special ladybug who was trained by Grand Beetle on how to listen at an elevated level. After earning her gold wings, Mother Earth and Father Universe asked her to travel across the solar system, teaching life lessons to creatures to respect one another and to listen. Learn more about her travels in the book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella. Lady Ella would like to teach you and your family how to listen at an elevated level. If you're interested in learning life lessons as well as how to communicate more effectively as a family, go to Amazon and order Lady Ella's books. They're all there, just waiting for you.
Hello everyone, I'm Simon MacDonald. I live in the West Highlands of Scotland, a very beautiful part of the world. Seems a long way from the USA Global TV station, but remember, USA Global TV is worldwide. It's a fantastic platform, and every Wednesday I come along here as part of the show of the United Kingdom News and Culture, and it's just like a family reunion each time. It's one of these amazing stations that has such a beautiful, friendly and intelligent atmosphere as well. And we reach out to an audience in the most unimaginable places. And I came here, I don't know, must be over a year ago now. I was introduced by Dr. Philip Chan, and I met Ian Plum-Turner and Helena Chard, who are co-presenters on the show. And then Diane Floyd-Bem came along as well. And I mean, the five of us, Dr. Jacqueline, of course, who is our host and our mentor, has just made this show work so well. Tremendous people, lovely time we have, and we impart a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Nothing's rehearsed. It's all done off the cuff, and it all just gels. And we get great feedback from people coming back and saying how they're enjoying the show. It's lovely to hear. It's lovely to get that interaction from outside as well. And we're all listeners, and some of us are elevated listeners as well. So we enjoy every second of it, and we hope you do too.
Hello everyone, hello and welcome. My name is Roland Friedl, and maybe as you can recognize from my accent, I'm Austrian, so it's a small country in the middle of Europe, in the heart of Europe. And yeah, I'm 59 years old, I'm a father and a grandfather, and from my business background, after my very short but very successful corporate career, I was the youngest member of board of director in a huge business, a huge company. I started my own businesses in different areas, in different industries, and I got a lot of experience, what is working, what is not working. And about 2.5 decades ago, I started a training, coaching, consulting company, Spartan Performance Systems, where I did and still do train and consult international huge businesses worldwide like Xerox and other big players in the world. So we do a lot of sales trainings and management trainings with my team in different languages. That's my main background in business. Besides that, I'm very engaged in men's work and also in the environment. That's my background, to make it shortly. So to be honest, I'm very curious about what's going on in the world. I love to learn, I love to travel. So my huge passion is traveling. Right now, as you can see the background, I'm sitting in my motorhome. So after 14 years living on a beautiful island, I decided to move into my motorhome and travel to Europe and live and work from my motorhome. So, and I got engaged to USA Global TV and Radio actually a year and around 9-10 months ago. A very good friend of mine, he contacted me and asked me if he can invite me for an interview on USA Global TV and Radio. I guess the show was called The Journey of My Life. And to be honest, in the beginning I said no, because I had very bad experience on interviews in my business careers. I did it twice for a TV channel in Austria, and then they cut it and edited it, and at the end my comment was totally different than to the reality I said. So I said in the beginning no, but I trusted this guy, so they said, okay, let's do it. He told me I don't have to fly to the US, I can do it from my home. That was, at the time, this was his island in Mallorca. So, and it was an amazing, and a beautiful conversation. And then Dr. Jacqueline contacted me and asked me if I'm interested in becoming a co-moderator of a show. And so we started the Mallorca Connection, which is a weekly show on Monday, the Mallorca Connection. I got more and more involved. I became an elevated listener because I strongly believe it's important to listen first before you talk. And I had the chance to host and moderate and design my own shows, like the Earth Show in the past, the Men shows. I became a talking head, an expert on business topics. So I hosted, moderated, I guess about more than 100, maybe 200, I have no idea, shows on USA Global TV and Radio, and I still do. And finally, we started the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, a very good show, and we bring a new one on about the planet Earth. Yeah, that's a little bit what I'm doing here on USA Global TV and Radio. So why I'm doing this? First of all, I really love new medias. I love the platform. I love the work that this Dr. Jacqueline is doing to educate people. It's all about sharing, caring, and connecting and networking. And the benefit I got out of this in my personal experience, I learned a lot about myself, to be honest. I learned a lot about my strengths in moderating, in hosting, in talking live in front of a video camera. I learned a lot of myself, where are my strengths, where are my weak points that I have to improve. I met a lot of new interesting people. Some of them became friends of mine. Actually, after all, it's a hell of work, to be sure. Yes, it is, to be prepared to invite people for the shows, to find new topics, to do research on the facts. But I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the industry, the media industry. I learned a lot about broadcasting, videos, interviewing. And as I said, I met a lot of interesting people, and also made new friends where I'm very happy for that. So yeah, USA Global TV and Radio, it's the platform to connect. It's about sharing and caring. And for me, USA Global TV and Radio is a huge family, and I'm very thankful and grateful for this experience. And I guess the best is yet to come. Thanks a lot from Roland from Austria. Thank you. Bye.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, Etiquette and Protocol Expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Bella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Bella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, zanecarruth.com. ZANECARRUTH.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.